I'm out of words. I've always felt that I've always lived for stories.
Yeah, but
And this
are
is so
incredible.
nice that you have bought us. This is the treasure box.
Yeah, but this is only a small part of it, you
Yeah.
know.
Welcome. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Rakhi Krishna. I'm a shaman, and with my beautiful indigenous family, I'm growing a little forest in the Netherlands, and I'm the founder of Indigena Unavu. And I have a beautiful, incredible guest with me today. As you see, Philippe is here with us today by the fireplace, like old times.
Yeah.
Like 800-900 years back,
I remember.
how we first met, like storytellers, like everyday people, like how everyone used to unfold their stories around fire. We are going to unravel ancestral wisdom in a way of stories and way of the heart. So Philippe, anything about yourself that you want to share with the world, and share a little bit about how you started and from where?
Yeah. I was at a retreat maybe six years ago, and then you had this introduction round, and there was a sentence that came out of my mouth, and I thought, oh. And it was like, I'm here to play the game, but at the highest level. And that's the thing that really returns a lot of lately. And for me, it means that, well, there's a duality in life. I like to be alive, but I have also troubles. And in the end, I always say, like, with a kind of joke, like, I'm blessed with a lot of traumas, but that's what makes me. And I'm really blessed to be able to play around, because I think this is a playground. I like to see it as a playground and to learn and to grow. So that's what I'm been trying to do for. I'm 55. I have a wife, 3 kids, and a dog, and I live in Breda. So, yeah.
Beautiful. Would you say that your scars or your wounds gave you a different depth to your humanness, how you connect to people? Because really, you are one of the most empathetic and kind people I've met here. And
Don't ask at home.
I'm sure, but
Yeah.
Because I would say that the Philippe who is meeting a friend, or it's different, and it should be, right, different from the Philippe at home, or with kids, or with your dog, or with a random person. But would you say that, like you said, the trauma, the wounds have given you a kind of strength to grow your wings?
Yeah. Well, I think in the base, I'm kind of pure person, very pure, and it doesn't always show, but I try, and I feel that deep inside. So so my scars are maybe even deeper because of that pureness. You understand what I mean? And it has been like, I think when you get born, you just like here at the center, and you travel your life, you start your life, and then it's all about returning who you are, and that it's dealing with your scars, and also returning to, in my case, the pureness. which is in a sense is something that I long for, to be able to be that, and to be able to spread a bit around, maybe like that. So I'm very gevoelig.
Sensitive?
Very sensitive also. So and definitely the scars that's what made us human, and
It makes the play more multidimensional.
Yeah,
would you
exactly.
say?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful that you talked about remembrance or returning. No, you talked about returning, and for me, the whole point of this podcast is also to take the viewer or the listeners to a space of remembrance, really to remember what it's like to be human. And of course, it's not fantasizing about how beautiful our ancestors lived. That's not what this is about, or this is also not about chasing the ghost of our ancestors. It's simply about acknowledging the stories of people who have walked before us and kind of taking the cream out from their lives and their wisdom. So take us to where you were born and how did you come to the Netherlands?
Well, I was born in Ethiopia, and that still is something that I'm trying to find keys about. Why is that? Because there are keys. I'm searching for keys all the time, so that's like a puzzle, I like that. So, but there are keys that I already found around Ethiopia, and it's all about maybe some spiritual stuff and things that humanity starts and stuff like that. And but my mother was French and my father Dutch. So I lived in France, in Holland, in the USA, in Holland, in France, in Holland. And so I was a bit around several places. What was the question?
About how you. Let's frame it in a different way. What is your feeling about Ethiopia? What is that key that you maybe even consciously want to find? Sometimes there are two parts of our journeys. There's always two parts, but one is that we are really we're looking for a puzzle piece to help our heart click in, so that deepest longing for something, it's going to be okay. But on the other part is an unconscious pull. You don't know what is pulling you to Ethiopia, what is pulling you to to the past.
Yeah, that is something, the search of the essence of things.
And were you able to find that in a little way, or create that in a little way in Holland, in the US, and in every place that you've lived?
Yeah, in the end, that's in fact what I try to do every day. And now it's unfolding like maybe more rapidly, because it's the iceberg, it's all underneath the water, and then there's a point coming out, but you don't know what's underneath. So I feel like I did a lot of work on that, and I have also in an ancestor way, there's some great things also around my ancestors. So there have been politicians also, and maybe I research it also. I make this genealogy tree. And
okay, now I can already feel everyone
Yeah,
watching and listening.
Yeah, they're all
tell
here.
Tell us more. We want to know more. Please share anything that you would like to share.
If you look at the French part, I find that the most interesting, because that's the greatest story. But there's a little village in the Provence, in south of France, and that's that kind of village where in a year maybe the bakery has a new paint for and nothing ever changes. And But still, there are documents that I have in my possession from 1600 from my ancestor being there, fighting wars also. So I went there a lot. I didn't live there, but I went a lot as a kid, and it was you would see that in films. Several houses for family members, and we did these lunches on the tables, and we did picnics and weddings, and really from
so poetic.
So that's the part I remember. That's truly a good part also,
Oh, that's so fascinating. It's almost like you opened a little book and we are able to peek in and look, or like a little movie that we can look into.
That. So when we arrived, maybe for a holiday a week, then my father would drop us down the valley or the heuvel, and as a kid we would run up the hill and screaming, "Grandpa, Grandpa!" and he would be like mowing the hay or something like that, and then we just jump into each other's arms, and so that was I have this really good memory. Maybe I was 5 or something like that. So we did that. Yeah.
And would you say that would you communicate with your grandfather in French?
In French, yeah. So I was raised bilingual, more or less. So yeah.
And what is your favorite memory? So te horen, I feel that this is something that is kind of etched in your heart.
Yeah, it is, and maybe it's around Christmas that. Maybe same age, between 5 and 10, and then Christmas is magical anyway for everybody. And then you must imagine this big house, and I had maybe 6 cousins and nieces and uncles, and everybody's coming for Christmas, and my grandma and grand aunt, they would cook for maybe 2-3 days, and for the Christmas meal, and then you would sneak in. I don't know. Maybe you get some cookie. I don't. That I don't remember. So
the best thing. Don't you feel the best things happen in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Right?
It's always, but at a party, or it's always in the kitchen where I like to be, because it's kind of informal, but also around food. So everybody likes food.
That's why we are here today as well.
Yeah.
It has to be in the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
It cannot be in another setting to talk about all these beautiful memories.
Yeah.
And would you also say that your family had special connection to certain kind of food, or certain herbs, certain rituals that happened during Christmas, or something that was always there and you knew that that's going to happen, that's going to come?
That's the 13 desserts.
Wow.
Yeah. So les 13 desserts. And that's typical provincial, I think. And it's not 13 times a cake, but it's like dry fruit, a mandarin, and a cake, and all kinds of stuff. So that as a kid you like sweetness, so
that is so beautiful.
And
so all 13 would come to the table.
Yeah,
at the
that's
same time?
in the end, like the 13 desserts, and you have in mind I have to pick one of everything. So you want to eat every dessert. So
that is very special.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So all kids would be like waiting, sitting on the table.
Yeah.
And the grandma and grandpa, they would be serving, or how take us to the table. Take us to the table. You were too busy.
Yeah. When you're 8 years old, you don't really look at who is serving, but it's
how was the mood like?
It must have been multi-level.
Yes.
Because
absolutely.
Afterwards I heard there was a lot of trauma, but I never felt that directly. So as a kid, it felt like magical, Yeah, it was magic. And then going to church at 12 o'clock in the night, that was all. And sometimes, but I don't know if we did that, but there was a tradition that the Christmas dinner would be after church, so maybe 1 in the morning. Then start dinner. So
These are real parties.
yeah, but I don't know if we did that. Maybe mixed up, but I know that's a tradition to do that.
But that's beautiful.
So I think they didn't do that with us because with kids. But I remember then going to church and my niece would play the violin and I would just turn the pages, from her music table. So yeah, nice memories.
Oh, beautiful. Were there always music in the background or?
Don't remember. No.
And how were you as a child?
Yeah, I was. I think there was a lot of joy in me, and also a philosopher. Yeah, looking at the sky and asking questions, trying to find answers, things like that. Yes. Yeah.
Do you remember yourself like that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I remember that I discovered. I made socialism up because I thought, yeah, but if the baker, he does what he does, but the doctor does what he does, why shouldn't that be equal salary or equal thing, So then I thought, then I started, okay, but maybe one doctor visit would be 10 breads then. And then I found out money. Money is a good thing too. And it was all fun.
So
but I was 7 when that's...
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Would you say that the ancestors who were revolutionaries or who were visionaries or were politicians, in some way, there's something that kind of pulled you back into community and being around people doing something back, or like, how we would say, giving back to the community, or kind of looking at it from a different dimension now? Would you say?
Well, I find it hard to relate to ancestors like that. So I don't know. I don't know what comes into me or not, or what is my part, what's DNA part, what's the soul part. I find it kind of hard to imagine. But for example, I had my grandmother died when I was 5. But I remember loving her very much. And she would say about me to my mother, "Oh, this kid is very special." Maybe she said it about everybody, and then I made a whole story that I was very special, It was kind of burden also sometimes. But but I don't really know what... I know we are all programmed somehow, So my mother lost her brother when she was 18 in a motor accident. And I as a kid wasn't allowed even to look at a motorcycle. And my mother was so afraid of. So then I had an accident with a motorcycle, but whatever. And then my daughter 2 years ago wanted a scooter. And the first thing in me was said, "No!" Oh. And then I thought, but that's not my no, that's my program. So then I said, after second thought, yeah, why not?
Oh, and how do you connect to that feeling when that big no came? Were you immediately thinking of your mother, and did you think that, this is not mine to respond in this way? Yeah. I must sit with that for a little while to...
Well, not exactly that, but I did a lot of work. So I looked at a lot of patterns and things like that. So, so I can recognize a bit when there's a program that's not belonging to me. So that was really clear. And I use this example a lot just to talk about programming. So because this is very tangible, and it's a small story, but
very significant story. Yeah. Because for people who are listening, I'm sure that a lot of us have been through these things several times in our life.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is a very key thing that you...
It's fine when you start to recognize the patterns of your life that are preventing you from being your true self. Yes. And there's also there was this voice in me that I think it's from my Dutch grandpa, but if it not, sorry, grandpa, but I think it's from him, like, Not everything is always fun in life, you know. So you also have to do things that you don't like. And I said, why is that?
This is, I think, definitely from your Dutch grandpa.
Yeah,
This is definitely Dutch.
It is
Sorry,
Dutch.
everyone, but
So
this
I
is
understand
still-
maybe 10% can be annoying because, I don't know, but why 50% not and accept that? So that was a program I worked on a lot. And I was, at that time, I was the director of my own company, and I thought, yeah, well, I'm crazy doing all those things that I don't like and I'm not good at. So, yeah, so that's
But a
programming.
very important thing also what Dutch grandpa was trying to tell you, definitely from his own experiences.
Yeah,
Life was so hard
that is,
back
that
in
is,
the time.
that is.
It was such a coping way, coping
Exactly.
mechanism to tell yourself that, there are things in life that are very, very realistic approach, I would say.
Yeah, like my father, and again, there I'm, I think, 8 years old, and I'm crying, and he said, "Oh, you're pity for yourself." That's hard. I mean, but if you look at where it comes from, don't show your feelings, and don't. You should be tough, and that's also his programming,
Yes,
you know.
absolutely.
But it's fascinating.
It's really fascinating. Yes, I have that. I have to confess now as well.
Oh, now it comes.
I know it's coming.
Yeah.
No, because of course I have this Asian mother thing going on sometimes. That I definitely know that it's my my mother speaking or my mother thinking, and I'm like, whew. And I really love the part where I'm also going to my son and telling him, I am so sorry. I don't know. That was not good the way I dealt with you, and because I'm sure that our parents have had zero time
Exactly.
to really understand emotional side of even raising children, or because the basics were
it's different
that's
times,
what their focus, right? The food on the table and a good home and education, but really getting into the part where how our programming
my father did a suicide attempt, and I was 10. We never spoke about it. Never. Can you imagine?
Oh, that's
so you bury that, and then somewhere I just also forgot that it happened, because it was in a bus, maybe I was 22 or something like that. I was with my mother, and he said, "Don't you remember?" Oh, now you're telling me. So that's a coping mechanism. So to bury it very deep. So but it's crazy. In a way, it's crazy.
Yes,
we should all be animals, like shaking it off and then go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why jumping or the dancing helps.
Yeah,
right?
dancing.
When you're shaking it off.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's still it becomes a kind of a thread that you unconsciously weave your life with, right? That is also.
Yeah, but because. And still now I'm feeling like sometimes I'm having these battles, and it's, oh wow, what is it now? I mean, didn't I see everything of those
More
corners?
More
to unpack.
to unpack.
So maybe sometimes it feels a bit unfair also, and then it's also maybe, I don't know where it's coming from. Maybe it's not mine even. I don't know. Maybe it's something in an ancestor's lineage. Like it's falling down anyway, and I don't know. Maybe. Subconsciously, maybe, why not?
Absolutely.
I don't know. So, but I know I feel that I'm here to stop those things. So I try to work as hard as I can, and then maybe release it as much as I can.
Yes, that's what we are all trying, right? And that's also why I felt that all of these stories will help everyone who's listening and watching, to look inside their heart and also go back and connect to their roots, connect to the stories that are in the family, to see where how it is woven. I always like to see ourselves like a beautiful scarf or like a beautiful carpet. It's that weaving has come together with so many different threads, right?
Yeah, and the stories repeat themselves.
Yes,
so if you don't,
right.
address them, you will do the same thing your father or your mother did, and then your kids will do the same thing. That truly is amazing also, I think, sometimes, because you can, but I have some examples, like maybe it's not appropriate to show them, but when you see it happening, it's happening in front of my eyes, and then, oh, your mother did the same, and your grandmother did the same, and now you're doing it also too.
Yes.
But
yeah, that's a very very powerful, almost kind of an invisible layer, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's also why I feel like we can make it more real and tangible, because when people think of ancestral work, a lot of people think that we are sitting with the ghost of our ancestors. So people are scared to even think about their ancestors. I've had people who come to me to say, can you please remove my ancestor line from my thought?
Yeah.
And so that's painful when someone feels that it's a burden.
Yeah.
Because it's not just their pain that they have passed on, right? They have also passed on beautiful strength. When I listen to your fascinating story, it's really a big thing. Growing up and at 10 years old, what you and your family went through, and what your father must have been going through. That is so heart shaking. That shakes any child, any family's core. And then to see you growing these beautiful, strong wings, where lots of people looking up to you, and you have done incredible things in your life, and you are of course, yes, absolutely, and you are kind of at a crossroad to doing more incredible work.
I feel like I'm starting my main course now. It's always
so you first had the dessert, 13 desserts for a couple of years.
Also, then afterwards, 13
desserts.
So maybe another 60 years, and then I'm done. But it is.
Tell us anything about the work that you are. Kind of this is a calling.
Yeah, it is a calling, because I had a company, IT company, for 16, 17 years that I built myself, and afterwards we built it together. But it was halfway I realized I was projecting what I missed into my people. So I cared a lot of my people, so like almost giving them everything but the balance was not really right. So then I restored that a bit and more balance. But it was all about connecting to who I was and becoming my true essence, or something like that. And then I felt, okay, it's time to move on. And now I'm trying to share this in the world, any place. That would like to hear the story, so there I'm researching all, because I have this chance to have a lot of trauma, so I have this chance also to have a lot of therapists, coaches like you, and so I did a lot of work, so I know things that are going on, maybe what worked for me or for someone else, and then I tried to make the best of that. And that to bring also to people now. So I'm working on a leadership journey, because in the end it's all about, I would say, know thyself, know who you truly are, what you also say, and try to let go of all the barriers and everything that's up on top of who you truly are. Because if you connect to that, then maybe it's only surrendering to life, like go with the flow, or it's not
that easy.
It's not that easy, and it's always like that. But I mean,
it's still a flow, right?
It is a flow, and I think these days, and I'm I think it's gonna get worse a bit. That people are really outside themselves. It's always about outside yourself, and that then you get lost. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know where you're going, and that is a shame, because we're God in action, and so go back, try to find this way, this path within, and yeah, I love to work with that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful path, right?
Yeah, it's for me, it's the only path, and if there's always a red line, no, not a red line, rode draad, but it's not a red line like in English, but it's you can follow your footsteps, but only at some point when you look backwards. And for me, it's simple, is that I don't surrender to what I'm not. So I try to be what I am, and yeah, sometimes it's a lonely journey also, because people don't understand me, and maybe sometimes I'm ahead of other people's like feeling, seeing things, and yeah, they can be very lonely, but I have to do it, so there's no other option. So.
And as would you say that you are a high sensitive?
But my immediate answer would be yes. But then again, what is that?
Yeah, I understand.
So,
yes, let's not go to the mainstream high sensitive.
Yeah.
But I understand what you.
Yeah, and I don't know if everybody is. I don't know. Maybe everybody is, but we just learn to shut things down. But in general, if I compare to others, but then again, I am not the other, so I cannot tell how you feel, but I would say I'm higher sensitive than a lot of other people, so yeah.
Yeah, because your capacity to feel.
Yeah.
I've noticed that, I've known you for a couple of years now, and I really noticed something that most people may not really...
Yeah, I think that also.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also when I make that, the company at first, in fact, I did with some values that were pretty new. So it was the same thing that I felt something has to be different, how we deal with each other as a colleague, and so I tried to set this up, and it was pretty new also. So yeah, I recognized that. So yeah.
So that's something I always kind of like some of the things that you're saying, and so I kind of took that in. So anything I am conceiving, sometimes it's just
it is
sitting at the background, because I was always fascinated with cultures my whole life. That moves me, people, cultures, languages, all kinds of music, art. And I felt that if I am putting a podcast out, it has to have all these components.
Good.
Because then I'm really bringing something out. Yeah. And that's why I thought, I don't want it to be particularly only about, kind of, hi, I'm Pinche Pinche, and this is that. I was like, I don't care. This is something which I wanted to be like a little vault, like a little treasure box for anyone. Maybe after so many years, I don't know, someone thinks, hey, I'm in a mood to hear some story from a different person, different land. It should be that.
Yeah, like, nice.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, cool. Nice. So if your ancestors are meeting you now, do you think that they would have a message for you, or would you long to hear something? Well, what is that one thing that you wish that they told you, or that you could ask them?
Well, I feel sometimes I'm in conversation with my grandpa or my grandma, so well, I'm very grateful for the spread of there's this French joie de vivre and this Dutch Protestantisme. So there's a lot of
Tell us a little bit more, because I'm sure a lot of us are thinking, what, French, what?
Yeah, joie de vivre it's like the Christmas story I told you. Like that, it's, like eating, and there's this part of France, and I was listening also to some music and poetical, very the language is very suitable for really nice poetry. And then there's this Dutch, which is more, to the point, more, also a bit the contrary of, like, they say, I don't know, you shouldn't raise your head above the maze. Then you chop off, because everybody should be different, the same. Yes. No one should be. So that's a very different, and it also far more economic. Like, don't spend too much, don't eat too much, don't waste your food, don't. Like that stuff. And in
that's
France,
lack limited.
Yeah, lack limited.
You're always reminded of it, right?
Yeah,
that's something that's in shortage.
Yeah,
something you're in short of something, so keep your eyes on it, right?
That's true. That's true. So but it's a fun game in the end when you start to master it. But
tell us about it. Tell us about it. And also, I have to go back a little bit to the part where you said that you speak to your grandfather or grandmother.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure that everyone wants to know how. Is it like do you have a little ritual around it, or do you just do it very naturally, just asking questions? How would you?
Yeah, I can. There are ways you can. In the end, it's very important to know that it's there. It is there, and you don't have to worry or think that you cannot manage or cannot do, because it's there. So if I connect to this cup, maybe there's a message, and the first thing that would come in mind, that's the message. Don't argue with the message, because your head is going to think, oh, what a crazy message. So you can connect with anybody, and then try to. But if you do it in a more meditative setting, then you have maybe more depth for the talking, for the messaging, well, it's not that I am very doing that every day 10 times or stuff like that, but I find it more and more easy to do. And I think I have been doing this a long time,
Yes, that this is the key, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of us, a lot of people, we have all been doing that for a very long time, but a lot of people have not really realized that, I do talk to my ancestors, or I do talk to my soul, I do go through the path of the heart and try to connect to something more, something bigger than who I am, just in a physical sense.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and so, but I did some healers training or schooling, and then you learn a bit to read.
Yes.
And that's all. That was easy. That makes it easier, because I understand. I say it very simple. It's there, so you connect, and then it's. But if you can just train yourself and just do, and don't be afraid, and then it's going to be more and more easy. And but there's also signs if you want to see them.
Absolutely.
If you want to see them, so. But I had this conversation today about those signs. If you're looking for those signs, you will always find signs. So what is the sign, and is it something you make up or not? And I don't care. But I like to have a joyful and adventurous life. So I like to think about those signs. So it's okay.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes. I was also thinking, the full moon in Leo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no wonder that we are having this chat today. Recording this podcast today, and it's a beautiful, powerful energy to come out. And
is it? I don't know, because I don't.
Yes, beautiful time to speak your truth, and also. Also a lot to do with the roots and. So I thought, this is.
Because yesterday I thought I would take some chanting lessons. So because I think here's more to. To work on.
Yes, explore, and also really learning about speaking.
Yeah.
What's truly yours to bring out, right? So Now we come to the part where we are talking about healing medicine,
Okay.
healing herbs or healing food.
Yeah.
We got this incredible introduction of the 13 delicious,
Very healing food.
very healing. It of course in one
Yeah,
way
yeah.
it is also healing. Just that story itself, I'm sure
It
that
is.
it just lights you up.
It is.
When I heard, I'm like, oh,
But anything that gives a good feeling, true good feeling, I mean,
Yes.
that's healing.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
And made with love, so it's in the food.
Yes, absolutely. Food as medicine, right?
Yeah,
It's an
yeah,
incredible thing. So would you take us on that part of your
Well,
family?
I think I maybe if there's previous life, I did something with herbs and medicine, maybe a druid. That's all. So I'm very attracted to herbs, but you know I unlock a lot of great paths, and this one is half open, so it's not really. But I grow some of my own herbs, and I like oregano a lot, and then I make oregano oil of it. And it's very, if I feel that I'm getting sick, I take some drops of it. It always works. So until now, I mean, I've done this maybe for 1 year or something like that. So, and in the end, that's also about essence, you know? The essence of the plant is some qualities, and then with love and good taking care, it's not always difficult, but you know there's some methods to extract or whatever. Yeah, and then you use the real essence. So I like also alchemy, stuff like that. So, but yeah.
Yes, really transforming the sacred potency.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
The potent plant is really kind of speaking to you. Would you say that? That from all the herbs that
and in fact it's mostly the herbs you find in the Provence, because I like thyme, I like rosemary, and oregano and lavender. So I think that's maybe also connected then to the roots. And yeah, I'm always attracted when I go in a shop or something. I was in a monastery in Greece, and then they sell some little thyme and oils, and then I feel, I need that. I need to have this, you know. So or just dried herbs, and yeah, I like that a lot.
Because that's where the sacredness of the earth is almost. It's like a little treasure. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
They are little treasures. That we can take home and use as medicine. Also, would you say that when people hear plant medicine or herbal medicine, they probably don't think of everyday medicine like oregano or thyme or rosemary or a lot of the herbs that we can learn to use on a daily basis?
Yeah, well, I don't want to go into the new medicine and the old medicine stuff, because maybe too controversial, but I think what new medicine is trying to do is trying to copy, to synthesize, and then maybe to reproduce it easier. I don't know. So, but in the end, I'm longing more to the basis, to the earth medicine.
It's so wholesome, right?
Yeah, it is, and especially, I think when you grow it in your own garden, it's not difficult, you know. You just need to bit care and then know what you're doing. But nature does itself, so it just grows. And yeah, I know you're doing a lot of great work here also. So, and that's very rewarding also, to have your own oregano oil. You know, you made it yourself, and then
It's also a healing process, right?
It is.
Would you say that also helps you to stay grounded, connected to
For me, it's very important.
Ways? Yes, right?
It's very important.
Yes, because we speak a lot about grounding in the spiritual circle.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to ground. And I often feel like the most simplest things the most humble things like this are really bringing you back to the ground, right? Even also just sitting by a fire or just listening to a story, making something with your hands.
Yeah.
Back to that basics of feeling. You're laughing.
Yeah, because I have the tendency to go up.
Fly up, yes.
So my wife yesterday asked me, "Did you chop some wood today?" I said, "No, but I made a crystal grid."
So also important.
Was not a good answer.
I'll give you some wood from here.
Yeah, good.
Solve that
But
problem.
I know. It helps me a lot when I do it, but for me, maybe it's better than to walk in the woods. That's more, but yeah, it's very important to do because you have this line.
Absolutely.
The celestial and the earth line, so the heavens and
It's beautiful to kind of again remember who we are.
Yeah.
Right. How we started and how we are progressing, and in that path we can always take what has worked before, what's sacred before, and weave something new that works for ourselves and family and community. Right?
But don't you think that the power of mind could be everything in the end? That like, if you would like to have the medicine capacity of Oregano, that with the power of mind you can just print it in this cup. Don't you think? I'm just looking at that possibility. Like,
but this is a great, I would say, this is a wonderful question, because this kind of brings the Western mind, and as someone from the East, that the Eastern thought, and I also.
Is this a Western question?
It's a very Western question, but this is a world question now, because the world has become. One. I always feel like world has become a soup in one way, especially when it comes to thought. The East has, kind of.
The idea that.
I would say the Western thought has colonized the Eastern minds in many ways.
Wow.
So I always feel very fortunate to have.
Both.
To have been able to see that from a very young age, because my father was a very spiritual man. Mm-hmm. So I could really see how he kept himself kind of always challenging the mind and the thought and the way that the Western thought process gives too much importance to the mind.
But in the end, do you agree with this sentence? The universe is mental?
I would say to a certain extent. But the way that I have kind of seen in the last many years, how when I look at myself and how I want to evolve, or how I want to become a good ancestor, because as we are getting older, that's also a thought that comes to me. How do I become the kind of ancestor that my son or my descendants deserve, and how can I be a good guide? And I see that if I am not really committing to my humanness, in every way possible, really experiencing this journey on this beautiful planet, and being a caretaker in one way or the other, can be in any way, I may not really fully be able to absorb the sacred teaching of the earth, because then I am too much in my head. I'm too much in. I'm really obsessed with my own capacity, what I can bring to life. Then you play the divine, right? I feel like I'm someone who is always training myself to serve. So that seva, as we say, that's a beautiful term. I love that word, because that kind of brings you to that humble space of really accepting that you are everything, but you're also nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So you can, like you're saying, you can imagine and put all your energy into making that water the beautiful herbal medicine that you intend to. But there's also so much beauty in that journey of really going out, watering that plant, connecting to that plant, bringing it out. So then you miss out on it, don't you feel?
Yeah, sure, but it's not like that you replace that. It's more the capacity that you have to create. That's and in my path, I'm just thinking about those opportunities to grow in and to have more capabilities, also to master energies. I like that part a lot. So, and also about mysteries and magic. I like that. So I was just wondering what your view was on that.
Great question. We will definitely unpack it like an after party. After party question.
Yeah.
We will put more wood in and serve more tea and get to it.
Yeah, if you pay extra $10, then you get the after party also.
If you stay long enough with us, yes, of course, because after party is fun.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna move from the chair to the ground. We're just gonna sit down. But is there something that you would like to pass on to your children?
Yeah, I think that I am maybe the biggest example. So what I need to do is to live my most genuine life that I can. And that's what I hope that I can pass on. And and if I can add a little bit more of love, caring of your environment and the love of nature, stuff like that. But that's also the essence of who we are. We are nature, are we? So, and I don't have other ambitions like that. Yes.
Oh, anything that you would want them to remember about you?
Yeah, I'm not so fond of that type of questions, but I don't know.
Something for their journey.
For their journey?
Yeah. Say in the line of, being a loving guide for them later on, or for your grandchildren.
I don't know. I don't have an answer to that question. Maybe there's too many answers, or maybe I don't want to pick one. I don't know.
Okay, this is also going to come in the after party. We will be.
Yeah, but it's to be true to yourself, but not only true to yourself, also regarding your environment. So maybe that part, yeah. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of the dark.
That's a great one. Don't be afraid to get a scooter. Don't be afraid to get on the bike.
Enjoy life to the fullest, because I think this is a really, truly nice experience. And yeah, enjoy it.
Would you pass on your magic wand?
No, because, if they want. Yeah. I would love to share more about that kind of stuff, and I don't know, maybe, but I think I have 50 years to go, so when I'm old, they will come and let me see the wand and let me, what do you do with it? And yeah.
Do you have little conversations like that?
Yeah, because they see me and they follow me also on Instagram, so I started to post more about those stuff. So, but I've always been, I wouldn't say the full, but maybe the half full around the house with the Wichelroeders, how do you call them, or the pendula or things like that, doing stuff. And what's you doing again? And I was in France last week, and I visited maybe 121 stones, rocks to lay on, and my daughter was, "What the fuck you're doing with the rocks?" And yeah, I must say, I wouldn't have thought that I would be doing this also when I was young. But yeah, I just followed the path and the call of, in that case, it's also nature, but it's also universe.
Did your parents have moments like that with you when you were young?
Maybe my mother. I think she was aware of things, maybe. I think my dad had definitely the capabilities because he also went psychotic sometimes, and I think then, but yeah, he was trained to shut everything off and with medicine, so, but I think he was very capable of, I don't know, so, yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now we're going to slowly go back to the oregano oil that you would like to share so that everyone can see and learn how you make it.
Yeah, well, in case of oregano, you have oregano, and you cut them before they flower, so that the energy is still in the leaves. And then you don't even have to dry them. You put them in olive oil for, well, that should you look up, maybe 2 months, and then you filter it, and you get your oregano oil. And I make it more medicinal because this one you can cook also with. Then I put some drops of essence oil of oregano, so it's very strong, and yeah, that's more medicinal. So I take the pipette, like I have it here. I brought it. So it's my oregano oil, and then you want to taste?
Oh yes.
Directly into your mouth. Yeah. So, and then I never get sick again. No, I don't.
So people, this is it.
Yeah, you can buy
this
them
is
at
a magic medicine.
www.
Don't, Philippe. You will never die. You can fly around the universe and.
It's great.
Oh, but that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice and strong and.
Yeah, and of course, and it's very important to take good olive oil, organic, and not too much worked with it. So that's in everything we eat, and we try. But we try to get the lines as short as possible and as genuine as possible, So also for the olive oil.
Can I smell the oil, please?
Yeah.
And is there a maybe you already do that, but you're not conscious about it? Is there kind of a special ritual you? It smells so beautiful. Is there a ritual you do when you are preparing?
No, but as you were saying this, I said that's a good idea, but I don't have maybe the full moon then or something like that.
It will come.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't do that, but it's a great idea.
It's so beautiful because that's something I feel that a lot of us, I would say, not just now people think that only indigenous people are coded to rituals, but I would say everyone is coded to ritual in every culture. And it's beautiful to kind of go back to that. That's also why I felt that the podcast is a wonderful way to open the door to really understanding what are these sacred rituals, how can we create them. So it doesn't have to be outside, naked under the full moon. It can also be that, but it can also really be, at home, in your kitchen, or in a space where you love, to weave something, to kind of put a different, beautiful layer around that.
Yeah, but making. I thank you for that, because I think it's a great idea, and that could layer a lot of doing this stuff, and then more conscious. And because there's a calendar that says on this day you can plant, on this day not, and I don't know where. I don't know. It's something about the moon or maybe stars. Yeah, but definitely.
It's so beautiful to do that, because that's something we are very obsessed.
Yeah.
Try to be a little less.
Okay.
Yes. Everyone has their obsessions. But it's so beautiful to kind of open your heart to that space when you are kind of time traveling to a different time, when you had no time, right? No particular time for anything, but really to connect, to really listen to the message that's coming from.
But then it would be like that. So then, if ideally you get a call from the oregano plant, you got to come today.
Yes.
To plug me on. What's the term in Dutch, in English?
I would say people now would say cut or plug.
Oh, okay, but whatever. But then that would be great, like to work like, and probably it would be the full moon.
It would be beautiful,
and it would be the stars are aligned.
We do that with everything, all the medicine that we make. It's such a wonderful process. It's like you're plugging yourself out from the daily daily feeling. Yeah. And then stepping back in time when you really become, come in your heart in a different flow, different frequency.
but that's maybe where you were arguing about the Western mind.
Yes.
Is like mankind is forcing nature to follow himself. Yes. Instead of following nature.
Following nature, so it's a completely different dimension of feeling that, okay, I want this now, and where's a plant? I'm gonna go get it.
Yeah.
Instead of really tuning in.
We give them light at night, so they grow faster.
Yes, and a lot of
Isn't that great?
So that it grows all around the year.
Yeah.
Right? So the potency of the plant, the sacredness of that in that communication is lost. Right? So
yeah, there's a lot of work to do.
For all of us, right?
Yeah, but if you do it small, like I don't mean small, I mean
like small, like
and then that's what you have to do. Mm-hmm. You can't change all that. You can change yourself.
Yes, and that's how it always happens, right?
Yeah, and be an example.
Yes, by keeping it small and not focusing on the larger quantities. Yeah. Then we will also have to put in all the lights in the night to vigorously grow everything. Mm-hmm. That's such a shame, because sometimes it's so beautiful. When it's over. Then you wait for that time when you're, that's so beautiful. You're laughing like a mad people.
No. It's not everybody would think the same, but I understand what you're saying.
That keeps that sacredness, right? So when people ask that ritual, I feel that these are rituals that everyone can weave into their life.
Yeah.
It's something that you would love to share with
is there something that I would like?
Yeah, love to share with people who are at the cusp, like, of they don't know much about anything that we talked about, but they are kind of curious. Where do you think a nice starting point would be for them? How to start listening to themselves or to that voice? Can you kind of?
Oh wow, I don't know. I mean, I think it's very that people are easily distracted from things, and that life is coming back, knocking on the door every time you get distracted. So the starting point can be anywhere. I don't have for you. It's maybe there. For me, it may be there. So I don't know.
But is there some kind of a starting point that you feel that this is somewhere that anyone can make a step?
Yeah, if you feel an emotion, go and think. Because in the basis, the emotion doesn't belong to you. So where does it come from? Where does it resonate? Just if you're angry, you're sad, or whatever, think. And that's at home I get a lot of discussion because it makes me mad. I say, that's good. What's that? Where does this madness come from? But you can train a lot of things like this 100 times a day. And I was, because of everything that happened, I was so shy. I didn't dare to speak in a meeting. You know, we were 4 people in the beginning of my career, and I didn't dare to speak. Then I thought, okay, I can exercise twice a day because there's twice a meeting, and I'm going to say one thing every time. So even if it's so rainy today, you know, don't. So yeah, to realize that you can exercise all day long, because that's the playground.
It was also beautiful how you shared how you were not really much of a speaker before. That's huge. I'm sure that when people are listening to you now, they're thinking, "You're serious?
Yeah.
This guy?" A lot of people think of me as well now. That,
Okay.
You kidding me? I would throw up before going to school.
Yeah, I know. You told me. Yeah.
Horrible anxiety.
Yeah.
This absolute disaster. So a lot of people think that we are very brave, but I often feel that that little spark is definitely there in each one of us. But to tap into that and then to walk through that really dark and scary tunnel, even though you are afraid, that also, and also how you're feeling like, you're brave, and both ways are good, right? Because sometimes you are brave because you have no choice. You have no other choice.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe in the end it's about to work on your talents, make them the best of your ability. So that maybe is that's what I should tell my children. Can you edit that into?
Yes, we are rolling.
Oh, you're rolling.
Morgan, thank you. We are rolling. Ancestor Spirit, thank you.
But you know, I don't like it because there's a task, and before the task, there's a will. So that's why I don't get into task what you should do. So the only thing about life thing, enjoy it as much as possible, and then make it your own party. I don't care.
Oh, thank you so much for taking us along. Do you maybe have a picture or a song or something that you would like to share, like to show us?
A picture? Yeah, I bought a lot of pictures, but I didn't really know what kind of pictures you would like to see, or
anything that you would like to to show. Maybe the 13 desserts.
Well, I didn't brought them, but I don't know.
Oh, this is so beautiful.
I have. This is my mother.
Oh, so beautiful.
And you can see, I don't know if you can see here, but this is from my Dutch line. You can see all those faces, very strong, and not so happy at all. And my grandmother.
Oh, so beautiful.
Very poetic.
Wow, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And look at this. The generals. I mean.
Okay, this should. Oh. So this is like from a movie.
Yeah, it's true. And one of those guys was the governor of Madagascar. So it's like colonial. Yes. So I don't know if it's right or wrong.
I will see if we will have an after party now.
So I have a lot of.
But incredible.
And this one is fun also. This is the village I talked about in France with my grandpa.
So nice.
And just having a cup of coffee in the village with,
Oh, but this is incredible.
Yeah, I've got a lot
I'm out of words. I've always felt that I've always lived for stories.
Yeah, but
this is so nice that you have bought us. This is a treasure box.
Yeah, but this is only a small part of it, you know. But I don't know. I don't have time to read all those letters. I don't even can decipher that.
But just this, right? Just the writing of someone who has who lives in you.
Yeah.
That is such a powerful, fascinating.
And I don't know about this governor, you know, because he was also I don't know.
So have you ever gone back to Madagascar?
No.
Have you reclaimed the land? Do you have plans?
And this is funny because this is a picture of my grandfather was a agricultor or something like that, and he went to the Netherlands, and here's a picture of him somewhere he must be, but in the Netherlands, just before he knew that his daughter would marry a Dutch guy.
Oh. That's also incredible. That's how how that happened. This is just.
And this is masterpiece.
Wow.
1779. This is Anne-Sophie de Roussy. That's very far above. And she was a descendant of Charlemagne. You know Charlemagne? Karel de Grote?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe we're
Sure,
all
sure.
a descendant of him. Because it's probably... yeah, well, so stuff like that, you know.
Oh, so beautiful.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff like that.
These are treasures, really, such treasures. I'm sure a lot of people who are listening or watching, we all have these treasures somewhere. Take them out. Don't you feel when you take them out and go through them, something happens in your heart?
Now I can tell you, because you were saying also maybe you can find a song, and this is a process also. Eh?
Yes,
So
yes.
so I looked at the picture, blah blah, and then on the way here driving, I was trying to find a song, but then I started crying. I mean, really crying. So I think, oh, what the process is this? So, and I'm kind of guy that doesn't go away of that. So I would encourage everybody, if you can cry, just cry, because it's emotion, it's energy flowing, you know. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but this is so beautiful that you're sharing it. For the biggest intention, also for this talk or this podcast, is also to help people see that ancestral healing starts here, like this, from our heart. It doesn't start from elsewhere. It really starts by looking at the people who walked before us, connecting to their land, the stories, and also something awakens within us every time we go back. Oh.
Yeah, it's a good thing to do. So just look at the picture.
Yes, yeah. Start there.
Just
right?
look.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, these are beautiful treasures.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you for everyone listening, and thank you for remembering. May you walk and continue to walk in wisdom. May your roots be stronger.
Thanks.
Thank you so
All
much.
right. Thank you.